Hello everybody, and welcome back to a new episode of I Talk to Notebooks. Today I'm going to be doing a little bit more pre-decorating for the coming week. I'm going to be focusing on more gray and black and cool tones this week, since last week I focused a lot on warm tones and brown tones. So as you can see, I'm taking the same Piccadilly template from my journal and I'm using it to cut out full page size scrapbook paper pieces. And I'm going to use these to cover entire pages. I chose 6 for the upcoming week. That allows me to have about 2 spreads per day if I want that much space. And I'm going with a variety of different papers from different paper packs that I got from MacLeod. Most of these are Galaxy themed or Gemstone themed. MacLeod likes to pair those two things together. Their Recollection brand often pairs those things together. And I'm cutting off excess pieces to use as scraps. This piece was a full-size 12 by 12 scrapbook paper with a quote in the middle. And I always avoid those because it's impossible to cut them down to without mangling the quote. But I realized I'm never going to use a 12 by 12 piece of paper full size for anything in such a way that the quote will be visible. So I decided to just go for it and to appreciate the letters as aesthetic shapes rather than as being part of any kind of meaning. It's kind of a nihilistic exercise. I really like these thin clothing tartan patterns that I found at Hobby Lobby. They kind of look like plaids or stripes, men's shirt patterns. I really like them. So now that those are all cut out, I'm going to put them in the order I want, facing in different directions so that I get a good bit of variety throughout this week's journaling. And now they're in order. So it's time to start gluing. And I'm going to be using an Elmer's glue stick. This is a washable glue stick. Came in a pack of about 8 from Amazon. I do not recommend it. They have hardly any glue in them and they don't stick very well. I'm still facing the recurring problem of paper and glue not wanting to stick to these journals pages. This is a Piccadilly journal. I believe it's called the Flatline Journal. And it's really hard to get things to stick between that and this awful glue stick. But I'm trying to use them all up and the end is near with this journal. So I'm just putting in the paper. So far it's looking pretty good. Things can get a little more complicated when I close the journal. That's just black construction paper I had left over from another project. So I like to place a heavy candle on top of my journal to help squeeze it together and add pressure so that the glue will seal more firmly. And this really does help a lot, particularly with this big journal that is coming open a lot. It makes a huge difference. So now I'm taking those leftover scraps that I saved from the pieces I cut out and I'm just tearing them into aesthetic shaped pieces, making them into bite-sized chunks and then removing any, artificially fit straight edges, such as the edges of the actual paper or any cuts I did with my scissors. I'm getting rid of all those edges that I removed, throwing them away, and now I'm putting some other cards that I wanted to use to add a little bit more visual interest and texture to the pages. And that one that I just trimmed there with the template, that was a full-size page from a mini paper pack. MacLeod sells those. That was also Galaxy themed. And I just cut it down to size using the template because I didn't want it to be wider than the page. We also have a Galaxy card and envelope from MacLeod. It has a constellation theme. And from my MacLeod Halloween haul, which you may or may not have seen, I'll put an iCard. Here are some x-rays that came in a little quad that I cut apart. And I'm rounding all the corners to make it look a little bit neater. Then a ripped out piece of vellum, as I always have to, and now I'm cutting out some cards that came from a multi-card sheet from one of the paper packs. This is very trendy for to have big sheets of just lots of little cards that you can cut apart. So I just had some left over. I just picked them out and started cutting them apart, cutting all of the corners to make it look a little bit neater. And these are just really interesting. Some of the sayings are kind of platitudes that I don't love, but the aesthetic feature is nice. So now that that journal has had a chance to set, I take the candle off and it's time to start gluing in pieces of scraps and cards. So I like to try to just have a little bit of variety and just go through, layer a couple scraps on top of each other. It's pretty formulaic, but it looks nice and it's a really quick and easy way to add some interest to the pages so that they don't seem so blank and intimidating when I start writing. You may notice that in other pre-decorating videos, I tend to use old book pages and tear those apart as well, but I did not feel that that really matched my mood for the week, so I skipped it. One thing that people are concerned about when it comes to pre-decorating is that you may not feel the same way when you're writing as you do when you decorated. And I can find that that is a problem not when I'm writing, but when I'm looking back at my journal. I'm going to let those scraps set, and I'm going to move on to decorating this card with the remaining scraps. So as you can watch me filling out the rest of this, I just want to finish that previous thought, which is that when I'm writing, I don't really care what the pages look like. I just care that I have a welcoming space that is aesthetically decorated to make me feel a little bit more at home while I'm sharing my feelings, and I'm in a vulnerable state in many cases. Later, when I go back to read previous entries, it can be a little bit jarring to see how the mood of the entry often doesn't match the mood of the decorations. But I still enjoy looking at them. They're a feast for the eyes, and it's a system that's working for me really well right now. For this x-ray card, it's a vellum type piece of paper, and I wanted to use washi tape to make it into a tip-in so that I could write underneath it if I wanted to. Luckily, this washi tape stuck really nicely to the pages. I decided to make a pocket out of this larger piece of card and to tape it all around the edges so that I could put the card with the envelope on the inside so I could quickly and easily remove it and take it in and out. This is not only a little bit nicer than having to rely on glue to keep the envelope stuck to the page or tape to do so, which has historically not worked out great in this journal, but it also gives me the ability to take out the envelope and have that tactile experience. And I can decorate the back with another x-ray card like so. Perfect. To have the pockets facing the open side facing towards the inside, the spine of the journal, so that it minimizes the chances of the card falling out. All of this adds a lot of thickness and depth to the journal, which is something you may or may not like. Most people in the community that I'm aware of really like their journals being huge. My journals often weigh a ton more than their blank counterparts by the time I'm done with them as well, and I really like that. Doing another flip up this time with washi tape, just some polka dots. Just adding little things here or there. This little card that said shine like the stars didn't really fit going across the top, so I put it in vertically running up the side, and I thought that looked pretty cute. Alright, so we're going back to the beginning, and now we're going to do some washi tape. Oh wait, just kidding. We're going to put in this blank vellum. Now I think we're going to do the washi tape. A little new to this whole thing. This is my first try. So, yep, here we go with the washi. This is really beautiful indigo and gold washi tape that I found at Michael's. Kind of matches the theme. I didn't feel like using a ton of washi tape this time. I just wasn't feeling led that way, so I just didn't do it. Here's more indigo and gold. This was from the Halloween haul that I did. It's got moon and stars. And a little bit of silver, kind of almost holographic foil, just to decorate that You Rock punny card in the right-hand corner of that page. And that's looking pretty good. So now it's time for some stickers. And today I really felt like just using the antiquarian sticker book. Relatively new, and it felt like the theme. So I put that little guy with the top hat, the hot air balloon, just whatever I felt like in any blank places, I just added it. Flower wreath is really nice, and there's an little Egyptian pharaoh, I believe. God. It's really cute. It reminds me of my friend Adore, who has a shop. It's only available in India, sadly, but she has some really beautiful decorations, including Egyptian ones. So I'm just filling in any blank places with stickers. This sticker, a ton of stickers and more than that, so I'm not too worried about using up stickers. I just want to see them. I really like that little queen there. She's really pretty. And then just some rabbits around an egg. What's weird about that?